This is a place overflowing with monsters and traps. It is called the Labyrinth. Adventurers who enter the labyrinth are divided into 4 types. Warriors who use their natural physique to handle the frontline fights. This group's warrior sees that a huge rat is blocking the way and wonders if they should engage. Priests who support the party with divine power. This priest notes that this is their only path forward. Mages who could be called the main body of the party. This one is choosing to remain silent. And the 4th type, those who enter the labyrinth with no special abilities. The warrior believes that this is the only path after all, and he even made eye contact with that rat. The priest notes that he should take the lead, as she will follow, but the warrior is pretty hesitant. That's when the 4th type appears. A boy as young as they, but physically more built. He wants to step forward to fight if they can get out of the way for a bit. This is his type. It is commonly called a guide. The warrior confirms as such. It's a profession that tells one about labyrinth traps and monsters' weaknesses, but in terms of combat, they're almost no different from all normal people. The priest wonders if they should stop him, and asks if he's not passing this off just because he's scared. The warrior denies such a claim. Obviously, he's curious about the fighting method of a guide who has 0 combat ability. The guide thinks that what he is saying is correct. As a rule, adventurers are usually divided by rank, from hero all the way to apprentice. Guides barely make it to the upper ranks of the beginner level. In other words, they are beings with no reason or need to enter combat, but he has a reason for doing this. He explains that labyrinth rats live in the dark labyrinth, so they are classified as nocturnal. That's why he is carrying a lantern. Therefore, they will not act recklessly in bright places. Using that in reverse, if he turns off the lantern, the rat naturally charges in, thinking it has the upper hand over its prey. It's much more threatening than he thought, but he stays calm and waits just a little more. When the labyrinth rat enters a certain distance, he activates the lantern again, causing the rat to cry out as its eyes begin to sizzle. This allows the guide to move in with a knife and take out the rat without much preamble. He is glad that he did though. The priest is amazed. That's what the lantern was for. He really is amazing. The guide calms her down, noting that it was just a labyrinth rat. All adventurers can catch low-grade monsters like labyrinth rats. Although it's progress from before, suddenly another rat appears, and the priest tries to warn the guide, but the rat is already on him and opening its mouth to taste his succulent flesh. Before that can happen, however, a flame overwhelms the rat, swallowing him whole and turning him into ash in an instant. The mage notes that they offer to help catch it together, but he went out alone. Is he hurt anywhere? This girl is Reina. He is a childhood friend. They parted ways a few years ago, but recently met again. He did not expect her to become this strong. The guide notes that if he hadn't been careless, he could have caught the 2 of them too. Reina puts that aside and asks where her thank you is. The guide just turns to walk and thanks her rather standoffishly. As he sits down somewhere, Reina approaches and taps his shoulder, asking if he's okay. He has seemed a little uncomfortable since earlier. Is there some sort of problem? Well, it is strange that he is working as a guide in the first place. Why is someone who wanted to become a hero a guide? Could it be because of the incident back then? The guide remembered that incident, as it's something that he could never forget. His childhood dream was to become a hero. However, on that day, the day the village was attacked by those vile monsters, he realized he rushed out to save people. However, being weak, he could not do a single thing. He couldn't become the hero he dreamed of as a child. Unable to become a hero, he ran away to become a guide. That's basically it. Reina notes that it really was because of that. But why did he catch the labyrinth rat alone earlier, even though he realized he was weak? The guide explains that he has a goal he wants to achieve, and for that, he needs strength. Because if one is weak, they cannot do a single thing, and he cannot remain weak forever. Reina smiles fondly, and says that since they talked and rested, they should go and look for that mandrake, because that was the request they accepted after all. Most adventurers maintain their livelihood by taking various requests. Beginners like him typically form teams and enter labyrinths. Suddenly, he looks into a dark corner of the labyrinth, and the direction is the inner part of the labyrinth. Reina asks if something is there, and the guide guesses it's his imagination, although he wonders. After rejoining the group, they decide to split up to search for the mandrake. Assuming their current position is A, Reina and he will search Area B. The warrior and priest decided to investigate Area C. It's an efficient way of scattering. In Area C, the warrior notes that they roughly look around here, so they should go to the opposite side. He asks the priest where she's going, as they have already looked around there, and she apologizes, as she couldn't really concentrate. The warrior guesses that he keeps looking focused because of the guide, but should he have stepped forward earlier too? He needed to show something cool as well. Suddenly he spots a chest, and notes that they can't pass it up at all. The priest is a little scared, however. It might be trapped, so they should ask the guide for help. The warrior immediately gets annoyed. That damn guide. They don't need a guide in the first place. He can handle this much, so she should just watch from there. The priest agrees, wondering about the mandrake. In Area B, the guide smells the soil, with Reina asking what he is doing. He explains that mandrakes have a distinctive scent on them, so one can locate them through the soil. She notes that's a very guide-like method, and thinks about it before unleashing some magic onto him. It is sensory magic. It amplifies his senses for a certain time. Will this help? The guide thanks her with this. They can find it more quickly. Reina notes it's not even difficult. She just felt bad for watching from the side. Because of their combined efforts, they find the mandrake pretty easily, but Reina wonders why the guide is lurking around like this. Thanks to his heightened senses, he can now detect it. It's faint, but it's a smell that gets stronger as one goes deeper into the labyrinth. A tangy, metallic scent. That disgusting smell he has smelled somewhere before. It definitely seems to be coming from around here. Reina thinks that this guy has become pretty difficult to deal with, and wonders what topic they should talk about. She asks if he heard about the story of the royal government suppressing the bandit groups. The guy has, but he heard they couldn't catch some bandit groups. Reina confirms as such, so the suppression forces are chasing after them. Rumor has it a hero is pursuing them. Then, has he heard about the merchant disappearance case? It's an incident that happened near the labyrinth. Doesn't it seem suspicious? The guy has not heard about that, but why is she suddenly talking about this? Reina says that she's doing it just in case. What if those bandits kill the merchants and are hiding in the labyrinth? Ruined labyrinths like this would be a pretty good environment for them to live in, right? Suddenly, she sees him reacting and asks why he's acting like that. Did he get scared just by what she said? If so, he should have said so. If he asks, she might be able to protect him. The guide, however, knows that it's not that. It's the smell. Reina guesses that it's because of her and the things she didn't wash this morning, but the guy tells her it's not that. It is corpses. It's the smell of corpses. They begin following it, as the smell is strongest here, and Reina can detect it as well. Sure enough, they find themselves in an area that looks like a drainage room with more than a few corpses strewn about in various grades of decomposition. The warrior continues trying to open the chest, with the priest noting that it's been a long time. Should they start looking for the mandrake? He says that he is almost done, but the priest thinks that the atmosphere here is pretty unusual. Something is definitely unsettling. Suddenly something startles her from a shadow, and she notes that they should go, but that's when the warrior unlocks the chest and begins opening it. She goes to him, noting that he shouldn't open it suddenly, but the warrior just told her to watch. This much is a piece of cake, even for him. The priest looks at this place again, and notes that it's pretty huge. Is there space inside of it too? What was that sound from earlier? Well, it's probably nothing serious. Maybe just a small rat. The warrior turns to the chest and finds quite a few valuable things, but then falls silent. The priest asks if he heard that sound earlier, calling him Simon. She asks him again and again, but when he doesn't answer, she puts her hand on his shoulder, only to see that he has been struck by an arrow right into his neck, likely poisoned, if not fatal. The guide begins running, as it's too dangerous to move separately in a situation like this. They need to quickly rejoin the warrior and the priest, because right now, this labyrinth is the home of monsters that kill people, and under no circumstances will they let them live. The person living here is a murderer. Just as the murderer is about to strike the priest in the neck, she manages to block his strike with both of her hands, the knife going through them and causing her to wail in pain, although it's muffled by the murderer's hand. He notes that they are pretty unlucky. He was just about to leave this place today, and they walked in at this exact moment. Well, he has no time to waste. He will kill them right away. He begins pushing his knife downwards. The priest doesn't have the murderer's constitution, so she can't hope to defend against it. But the guide then tackles him and puts him against the wall, causing the murderer to recoil and lose his breath. Before he can recover, the guide moves behind him and puts him in a chokehold and tells Reina to shoot. Immediately, Reina summons a magic bullet that goes right into the murderer's head. Cariel goes to the priest and uses divine power, confusing Reina. He explains that it's only for hemostasis. He cannot do anything else. It seems that both the warriors and the priests have been poisoned. They need to get out of here fast. Reina understands. She will carry one with magic. The murderer, still not dead, notes that it is impossible. After all, his comrades will be here soon. There is no way novices like them could handle them all, so they should surrender now, as he will give them a painless death. Reina just smacks him in the head, telling him to stop trying to rattle them on purpose. Here are the goods they took from the merchants. There are other belongings here too, so they must have been using this labyrinth as a temporary hideout for some time. Judging from the situation, what this murderer said about his comrades is probably true, and on top of that, he can faintly hear voices from further away. He wonders what he should do, as if he leaves these two behind, they will not survive. But could he, a guide, actually save them? He looks at a priest who begs him, but suddenly he sees a pair of hands in front of him, someone telling him not to look, calling him Cariel. It's his mother's voice that tells him that he knows full well that looking will only bring him more pain. There is nothing he can do anymore. Cariel notes that they're looking at him with eyes that are begging for help, but his mother suddenly laughs. Has he already forgotten the day the monsters attacked? How he turned away from that child who was crying out for help? He should listen carefully while he still can. He is not a hero. Saving others is the duty of the strong. He is part of the weak, with such frail arms. Who could he possibly save? So he just should pretend he did not see anything. Cariel eventually agrees. Someone weak like him, how could he save anyone? He should just pretend not to see. He is not a hero, or anything anyway. Suddenly though, Reina snaps him out of his stupor, shouting his name. She asks if he's alright, as she needs him to focus. Cariel grits his teeth, thinking that she's right. Now is not a time to waste, to linger on the past. First, he needs a way to get out of here alive, and think of a method. He thanks Reina for pulling him out, and apologizes for worrying her too. With that, he gets to thinking. Their opponents are a battle-hardened bandit group. On their side, they have 2 wounded, a mage, and a guide. The setting is an old labyrinth. But wait, if it's something like this, then it might just work. He calls out Reina, and tells her that from here on, she should follow his lead, as he might have found a way to get out of here. Sure enough, the other bandits come inside the labyrinth, with one of them telling the others to move quickly, as they need to leave this place today. Another one notes that the guy who was chasing them is said to be the hero who injured their boss. The first bandit agrees that's why the boss told them to hurry. Suddenly though, as they get into the labyrinth at the crossways, they see the guide, wondering who he is. One of them wonders if it's the hero, and if he has found them already. But the second boss thinks that there's no way he is the hero. Wait, he is carrying their stuff? This little bastard is trying to run off with their jewels. Before he can go to do something, the second boss stops him and notes that it doesn't matter if he knows them or not. They are in a hurry, so they don't want a pointless fight. He should hand over the goods, and they will let him pass naturally. Even if they are bandits, they can be pretty reasonable. There's no point in shedding blood needlessly, right? Cariel thinks that it sounds like they are making an offer, but from the start, these guys are killers. Avoiding a fight is not an option. If that's the case, they will do something else. He closes his eyes and throws the bag at the second boss. He is quick on the uptake, however. Witnesses have to die. That's the rule of their line of work. However, he doesn't see the gigantic fireball flying towards him, and it hits him pretty well, with Cariel hoping that this was enough to kill him in one blow. The second boss, however, has defended against the attack, noting that they tried for cheap tricks, but they should not hope for a painless death after something like this. Cariel damns it all. The first plan failed. Now they will move on to the next tactic. He begins running away, and the bandits give chase. He thinks that at least the earlier attacks were not entirely useless. He managed to sap the strength of 2 bandits and their mage. The second boss tells them that the enemy has an ally nearby, so they should stay on guard. They begin throwing a bunch of knives at Cariel too. His legs begin locking up from the tension, but if he moves just a little farther to the front, just a little more, even against their mighty strikes, if he can hold out just a little longer, he will be fine. The second boss, seeing that Cariel is still running away even after a punch, tells his guy to get out of the way, as he will roast the bastard alive. Cariel knows he cannot dodge in this state, but that's when Reina appears behind them, unleashing a bunch of magic right toward the second boss. He notes that she's been annoying them for a while now, but that's fine. He wants to see if she can, but before he can finish the sentence, he sees that she wasn't actually aiming for them, and was actually blocking the entrance. So that's their game. All this just to sacrifice himself and save his comrades. He shouldn't even think he can't break this wall. He just wants to kill him first. That's all. Cariel laughs at him, catching his breath, noting that something like this won't happen. He remembers the plan he told Reina about. First, they will move the warrior and the priest to a safe zone. Then they will strike the bandits first. If that fails, they will lure them to an Area C. She naturally didn't like the plan to block off the passage in Area C. That's basically using him as bait while she runs away. She would never agree to something like this. Cariel, however, told her that's actually one part of the plan. The truth is, the more important part is this. The sensory amplification magic she used earlier. Can she also block hearing with it? The mandrake is a monster that screams the moment it is pulled out of the ground. The bandits wonder what the hell he is doing, but Cariel knows that, if one hears a mandrake scream, they will experience side effects like hallucinations, nausea, and dizziness. In severe cases, it can even kill a person, but in that case, the simple counter to this is simply not to listen at all. Cariel manages to pull out the mandrake, who immediately unleashes a blood-curdling scream, causing the bandits to wail and scream in pain as well. Somewhere nearby, the hero senses the smell of battle, and thinks that his target is definitely somewhere around here. The second boss mage cuts the mandrake in two, telling him to stop playing cheap tricks, but with that last attack, that bastard almost took a fatal wound too. He wonders where he went, and thinks that he disappeared, but suddenly Cariel unleashes a devastating fist into his jaw. The mandrake scream effect is affected by magic resistance. That's why he takes out the mage first, and then moves on to the others. The other one tells him to wait a moment, but Cariel doesn't heed him, knocking him out. The last one charges in with a mighty punch. Cariel weaves it and puts him into the wall. Just like the other one, The brute tries an overhead strike, but Cariel blocks it and puts his forearm right in his throat. The brute immediately reacts and tries to put his thumb right in Cariel's right eye, but he dodges with milliseconds to spare. The brute only hits the side of his face. Still, it hurts like hell. Cariel grits his teeth and continues applying pressure to the brute's throat, eventually knocking him out. Now they are able to carry the two injured out of here. Cariel notes that, thankfully, it worked out well according to his plan, but that was really close. Her mana almost hit rock bottom. Well, still without her in his plan, he could have never attempted it, right? Cariel agrees that if it weren't a mage of her level, he could have never even tried it. Most of all, he thanks her for following such a reckless plan. Reina can't believe he's just taking seriously what she said, just to try to lighten the mood. He was cool today too, like a hero. Cariel just smiles, almost in resignation. He notes that after they get out of here, they should talk for the first time in a while, as he is curious about how she's been. Reina agrees it's been a long time since she had an adventure with him, and she wants to tell him more. Suddenly, a light appears as they approach the exit, but Cariel sees through the light, as there is some kind of shadow, the shadow of the bandit boss, who smiles with manic glee, clearly excited to see new targets. Cariel notices and stops telling Reina that they need to get back inside the labyrinth now, but he then feels something flying towards them. It seems to be some type of grenade, and Reina tries to defend against it, but it blows up without them being able to do anything. Cariel is knocked right into a wall, with pain all over his body. He wonders if that attack just now was a magic stone bullet, but this opponent, is he the bandits group boss? The warrior and the priest should be okay too. More importantly, Reina is in a dangerous state from using mana recklessly. He needs to get up quickly. Before he can even move, he gets kicked right in the stomach. With the boss surprised to see a guy, he just wasted a magic bullet for nothing, it seems. He doesn't have time to worry about trash jobs like this. There was definitely a mage too, however. He needs to find and kill them quickly. Cariel, even in this state, thinks that he shouldn't let him ignore him and leave, but his consciousness is getting fuzzy, even though he has to save Reina. It's no good after all. Can someone like him save people? Why does he try to save people in the first place? From birth? Or because he likes praise? Or maybe he admires the heroes? He doesn't really know. Why does he even try to get stronger? To save people? Or for revenge against the monster that got him? He said he doesn't know. He doesn't even know what to do anymore. Reina wonders if he ever needed a reason to try to save people. He is the one who always helped, even in such situations. Most of all, he wanted to become a hero to save people too, didn't he? Cariel notes that it was, but does that have any sort of meaning at this point? No matter how hard he tries, he is just a mere guide. Even if he gets stronger, nothing will change. He can never reach a mage like her, Reina. Even in his mind, he knows that she is pretty talented. After all, Cariel continues noting that only strong people can save others and kill monsters. As he trained his body and hunted monsters to get stronger, he naturally got better at it. But this is the result. He cannot save a single person. His mother was right. This kind of thing is what heroes do. Reina asks if he doesn't know what to do anymore, and Cariel agrees. He won't do anything anyway, since he can't save anyone. Reina notes that he already knows he can't pass by people in danger. Cariel sighs and asks what the proof is, but Reina just tells him to open his eyes, as his actions are the evidence. Sure enough, he opens his eyes and sees that he subconsciously grabbed the boss's ankle, who asks what he is trying to do with him. He unleashes another kick, punting him into the wall again, noting that he is already short on time. Now though, he can't even get up, so he should stay lying down like that, as it befits his position of a weakling. Cariel, thanks Reina. His confused mind has cleared up. What's important to him right now is to rescue people. The boss finds Reina and grabs her by a tuft of her hair, thinking that troublesome ones like mages need to be dealt with first. Well, since he found her, it puts his mind at ease. She seems to be trying to say something too, but obviously, she is probably asking to be saved. Unfortunately, there is no one here who can save her. Right now then, he will send her off in just one blow. Before he can unleash this devastating kick on her, Cariel strikes his side, making the boss wince in pain. He turns around and unleashes a mighty punch into Cariel's guts, sending him flying again. The boss knows what he did. He hit his injured spot. He should have just stayed still while he could. This time, for real, he should wait quietly, as he will kill him too. However, the boss begins laughing, as there is no way he is getting up again. He is like a cockroach. Cariel knows that what's important right now isn't some convincing reason. What is important right now is that he won't look for excuses or reasons anymore, because he wants to do it. He will save people. This is something he is doing of his own will. The boss is surprised to see a guide who can actually use divine power. He certainly is no ordinary man, but even so, what exactly does he think he can do? Nothing will change. After all, he is still just a guide. Cariel agrees. In this situation, nothing changes. The warrior and the priest were already gravely wounded, and even Reina is unconscious. However, maybe, just maybe, if the hero chasing this bandit group is on the way, Then all he can do is buy time and hope that the hero arrives. He rushes in and puts his hand behind his back, seemingly grabbing something, making the boss try to hit him, but this was a fake, as Kariel uses his other hand to punch him squarely in the face. He would use his sword, but it snapped inside his bag from the earlier impact, and with attacks like these, he won't even be able to stall them. In that case, he will have to go for something that will truly work, to wound. Before he can unleash another punch though, the boss grabs his hand and smacks him across the head before kneeing him right in the chin, causing him to almost lose consciousness entirely. The boss really hopes he doesn't think he can win just because he got a lucky hit once. Kariel, however, refuses to stand down and charges in again, gaining back his lost consciousness. The boss is surprised, as if he's honest. He has never met an idiot quite like him. This would maybe show him something more, but he is just wasting his time. He is clinging to his leg like a dog. Is he hoping the hero will show up perhaps? But he should know that he has changed his mind about this. He grabs Kariel's throat and pins him against the wall. At first, since he was in a hurry, he thought he would just ignore him, but now he sees that pests like him are much more dangerous than any mage, so he will kill them all before he leaves. Kariel, even in his state, believes that he has to hold out until the hero gets here, but his body is at its limit. He apologizes to Reina for not saving her, just like back when he dreamed of being a hero, someone whose mere presence could put everyone at ease. That's when Kariel looks up and sees that the hero has arrived and blocked the boss's rocky strike. He clenches the boss's arm, breaking his knuckles, and the boss immediately retreats. He wonders why heroes are so obsessed with hunting bandits like him, instead of chasing the Demon King, but through his facade, he thinks he damned the guy for stalling him so much. The hero notes that he should know it better than anyone that the Demon King is already dead right now. They are the real plague. The boss notes that it doesn't matter. Today is the last day he will be on his tail, with the hero thinking that this is pretty funny because he was thinking the exact same thing, because he will die today. The bandit tries to hit him with his sharp rock, but the hero just unleashes a devastating strike to his side, making the bandit immediately lose control and fall on his face. He turns around, asking if everyone is all right, and sees Kariel noting that his wounds are severe. They should get him to the cathedral immediately. Kariel notes that he is fine, smiling. He explains that there are people in worse shape than him, those people lying unconscious back there. With that, he falls unconscious, with the hero catching him, noting that he is passed out. Kariel eventually wakes up in another place entirely, in a small cathedral on the outskirts of town. For some reason, he doesn't feel any pain either, even if he is bandaged a bit. The hero then appears, noting that he's been out of it for about 3 days. Kariel sees who it is. He is the one who saved them at the time, right? The hero explains that he should be fine now. He asks the cathedral priest to tend to him personally. Kariel thanks him and asks about the companions who were with him. The hero explains that they are all receiving treatment and resting in the next room, so they are all fine. No major injuries or anything. They got pretty lucky. Actually, he stayed here because there is something he must tell him, confusing Kariel, and he wonders what it is. The hero believes, though, that first he should introduce himself properly. He is the hero Akela. By the order of the crown, he travels wherever he is needed. The hero also notes that there are reports of never-before-seen monsters appearing in the forests, a suspicious organization with unknown motives, and a so-called hero hunter, a demon that's targeting only monsters and heroes. Kariel laughs lightly, noting that there are even more problems now, even without a demon king. Akela agrees. It's almost as if something is trying to fill the void he left. He looked into what happened in the labyrinth the other day. Under such restrictive conditions, Kariel managed to adapt using a mandrake. Thanks to him, not only the boss but the rest of the bandits hiding in the labyrinth were captured. Kariel is glad that they were all caught, and the hero continues. In the days ahead, there will surely be situations that cannot be solved through strength alone, so he will get straight to the point. He needs a guide like him on his journey. Will he be able to travel with him? Kariel is confused and stares a bit wide-eyed. Did he hear that right? Him traveling with a hero? Startled, his mind went blank, and instead of answering, he asked a question. Where will they be going? Akela explains that there is only one place they can go now, to the Forest of Golems. Before the hero can ask anything else, Reina comes inside the room, overhearing the conversation from outside. Kariel is glad that she's safe, but since she'll be traveling with a hero, she'll be fine. Reina is pleased with the hero letting her come along, as this guy is the type who'll end up dead on his own before he knows it. He'll need someone like her to cover for him, and if he has any conscience, he wouldn't leave her behind. Kariel wonders if they made some kind of promise or something, but Reina tells him to forget it if he doesn't remember. She can take a leave of absence from school or handle it somehow, as a mage is useful in situations during adventures, so she wants to come along as well. Reina and Kariel decided to set off on an adventure with the hero. The reason Kariel accepted the hero's proposal was that hope emerged for a goal that seemed impossible. By adventuring with the hero, he will grow stronger, and someday he will defeat that monster he saw back then with his own 2 hands. Akela takes him out of his thoughts and notes that they should get a move on, so if he could guide them. Cariel agrees they should depart right away. However, he wonders why Reina is smiling like this. She explains that this is called the Forest of Golems, and golems are pretty cute. He made one during practical exams before. Cariel wonders if she doesn't really mean huge ones and tells her that she might be disappointed, so she shouldn't expect too much. They begin walking through the labyrinthine sand forest of the golems, and Reina wonders, as they continue walking, that it's called the Forest of Golems, but she hasn't seen any yet. Cariel explains that this is just a pet that workers use. She will have to go through the quarry to see the golems. Reina wonders what this place is. So it was a mine. It's no wonder there are only stones around here then. Cariel notes that even if she goes, there won't be any small, cute golems. Akela asks why, and Cariel explains that because they're naturally occurring golems, mages and sorcerers use their own mana, so size and such are limited. However, naturally occurring golems are born from massive, pure magic stones. This mine produces many magic stones, so natural golems appear. That's why it's called the Forest of Golems. But he wonders what the exact reason for coming to the Forest of Golems is. Somewhere else, a bandit trudges through the same halls, thinking that they are always making him do groundwork. He will endure it since he is the youngest, but this is really annoying. Suddenly, he sees the group, and he didn't expect to see anyone, but just in case, they should pass on quickly. Reina listens to the hero's explanation, who is saying that the suspicious groups have come and gone from this place, with their appearance being white masks, dressed in hooded robes, and carrying bags, just like the guy that passed them, the bandits. He just sheepishly looks at them for a bit before bolting, wondering why the hell they are even chasing him. Eventually, he ends up in a dead end with nowhere to go. Akela guesses that it's better for him to surrender, but the bandit just laughs, saying things will not go as easily as he thinks, making Akela have a bit of a sense of déjà vu about what he saw in the mine. Suddenly, though, a naturally occurring golem appears, with the bandit explaining that he is the one who lured them here. Reina is surprised that the golems are so big, and Cariel explains that it's okay. Natural golems do not attack people first. Akela wonders though, is that thing asking for a high five or something? Cariel looks up and sees that its palm is open, and it's descending onto them, crushing the entire area with ease. They begin running away, with Reina noting that he said it wouldn't attack, but it's doing the opposite. Akela, seeing that it's pushing forward, plants his body down, and pushes against the golem's hand, stopping it for a bit. He asks Cariel if he can assess the current situation, and he guesses that it's the core. Someone must be controlling the golem's core. Akela understands that he will need to divert the enemy's attention elsewhere. Somewhere else, another bandit knows that the golem's right arm is being blocked by something, and another bandit tells him to attack with the left if that's the case. He turns around, wondering what those guys even are. Could they be sent by the royal government? However, seeing through the golem's eye, he sees that it was just one guy who blocked it. He tells the one controlling the golem to aim for the one on top of its arm. The golem holds its left hand still and raises its right one toward Akela, thinking that from the earlier counterattack, he felt that if he clashed head-on, he would be in danger. Then he has no choice but to use a different method. He begins rushing onto the golem's left arm, and as soon as the right one reaches him slowly, he ducks under it, vaulting slightly, and gets right through it, shocking both his group and the bandits. The one controlling it is surprised that he is planning to climb up onto the golem's arm, and wonders what they should do. Should they go out and fight? The other one denies it. Golem users like them do not need to fight directly, because after all, they have more than one golem, and these ones are much smaller and faster than the large one, right? Cariel tells Reina they should chase after that suspicious person they were originally pursuing, but this is what he dreamed of in his childhood, a hero's battle. Akela rushes through the small golems, with one of them unleashing an energy attack that he swiftly dodges. The other one steps forward, preparing to unleash another blast, but Akela grabs his sword swiftly and puts it right through the golem, taking it out. The other, more burly golem charges in with its fists, but Akela simply jumps as it tries to punch him and puts his blade right in the golem's opening, where its neck is, and slices, taking off its head cleanly and letting it fly in the air helplessly. One of the bandits inside the golem is shocked to see a top-tier golem defeated so easily. Just who is this guy? Since even the golems are useless, they have no choice but to run or hold out. Before they can think of anything more, they feel a presence, and they both look at the opening, and there they see that Akela has arrived. He was wondering where they were hiding out. It seems that they were behind the golem all this time, huh? Cariel chases after the low-tier bandit, telling him to stop and let him inspect the bag, but the bandit knows that he is just a low-level nobody. He only does deliveries, so why are they chasing after him? Cariel tells Reina to bind his legs since the gap isn't closing, and she explains that she doesn't know how to use two spells simultaneously. Cariel tells her to then ride right on his back and cast magic. Reina is immediately shocked, noting that perhaps for a moment it would be fine. Cariel then notes that he has an even better idea. He will ride the broomstick, and she controls it. But why does she look like that? Does she have a fever or something? She says it's nothing, and the low-level bandit wonders if he shook them off after a while. He stops to catch his breath, but that's when he sees Cariel charging in on the broom like a wizard, his entire focus on the bandit in front of him, who cannot react as Cariel just charges into him and punts them both through the wall. Cariel catches his breath, but as he does so, the low-tier bandit tries to punch him. Cariel naturally dodges the punch and grabs the bandit's shirt before putting him to the ground. He tries to get up, but Cariel unleashes another deadly punch, knocking him out. After that, Cariel is glad to see that they've secured the bag, and Reina comes, wondering if he's okay, as she controlled it a little too recklessly. Cariel is glad to see her, and asks if she threw him on purpose like that out of spite, his entire shoulder aching. Reina immediately denies this, a little sheepish, claiming that there's no way she would do something like that, and clutches her arm, which is clearly shaking a little, likely injured. Cariel grabs it, asking if she hurt her hand anywhere. She explains that she injured it before when she overdid it in the labyrinth, and she still has after effects. It's a wound that looks like a burn, so that's why the flight magic earlier was so clumsy. Suddenly she sees him using divine power and notes that she already received treatment at the cathedral, so he doesn't really need to do anything. Cariel notes that it's better than nothing. She got hurt because she pushed herself for his sake back then, and he's sorry about what he said earlier, even if it was a joke. Reina says it's okay, and thanks him for worrying about her. That's when Cariel is surprised that the bandit is awake, but the bandit notes he's been awake for a while. They just didn't notice because they were busy being lovey-dovey and all. Cariel holds up the bag he was carrying and asks him to explain what the items in this bag are used for, but the low-tier bandit insists he already told him 3 times. Suddenly, a figure crashes through where they are. It's Akela, who explains that he found the enemy's location. However, they're just holed up with barrier magic in an enclosed space. If they force their way through, and the enemy dies, they won't get any sort of information. Cariel guesses that it would be best to create a situation where they cannot use the barrier magic, and asks Reina if there is magic that prevents someone else from using it, like a silence spell. Reina guesses there is, but she cannot use it. Cariel looks around, wondering if there is another way, but wait a minute. This place is a warehouse used by the workers, right? They have various miscellaneous items like flour, and that might be the key. He looks at Reina, noting that when he saw her injury earlier, it looked like a burn mark. What's the reason for that? Reina explains that it's from using magic excessively. Her hands get pretty hot. Heat is generated when using magic, and even magic circles cause burns if one touches them. This is exactly what Cariel wanted to know. He can create a situation where those bastards cannot use magic. The people on the back of the golem claim that today is the day that person is supposed to come, so if they just keep holding out, they have the advantage anyway. Suddenly, though, a bag of flour is thrown into their room, with one of them noting that they are trying to blind them, but that won't matter at all. The other, however, notices that this is flour, and tells the other to stop and not use any magic, or it will explode. Akela steps in, noting that, thanks to his guide, he learned, but they probably know it too. When heat meets dust particles, or flour, in this case, a dust explosion occurs, and mana is also heat, so if they still want to fight in this situation, he will not stop them, but he should warn them. They probably won't enjoy being baked. The senior bandit wonders what they should do, but he closes his eyes, noting that the only option now is to surrender. Somewhere else, somewhere very nearby, a being of malice appears, claiming it's about time to make their move. Another figure, hooded and with bleached white hair, beside the malevolent one, notes that seeing there are no more sorcerers to be found in the forest. They were a step too late. The malevolent figure says it does not matter. They will always be 2 steps ahead. As they ride out in a carriage, Cariel thinks that it's fortunate the enemies surrendered without holding out. If they had not, they would have had to shed blood. A few hours ago, Akela interrogated them. They were saying they corrupted the golems with these items in the bags. The senior bandit confirmed that. Akela asks if the corrupted parts can be separated or purified with divine power, and the bandit leader confirms as such. With this, Akela purified the corrupted golems, and then sent the sorcerers to the cathedral for more investigation. Since everything has ended well, perhaps he will get some rest now too, since Reina is sleeping as well. Suddenly though, a voice screams out to stop the carriage, and for everyone to get down, and let themselves be tied up obediently, if they want their lives, that is. The carriage rider is surprised to see bandits, and Akela gets out, with the bandit leader confusing him with a knight. Akela notes that's pretty rude. He's a hero. The bandit leader notes that he's a pretty amusing one, but if that's the case, this side has hostages. If he so much as shows any signs of attacking, these hostages will immediately die. Cariel wonders what they should do, and Akela notes that he doesn't think they need to move and provoke them unnecessarily. One of the bandits notes that they're just chattering uselessly. He can see that they are racking their brains for an answer that they don't have. Suddenly though, another shadowy figure appears from behind the one that was talking. His helmet is suspiciously similar to that of the heroes, The bandit leader, seeing that they are being attacked from behind, immediately moves in to kill one of the hostages. But just as she is about to be stabbed, the shadowy figure cuts his hand and then kills him on the spot. Another immediately moves into another hostage, but that's when Akela moves in, striking him in the chest and taking down the bandits with practiced ease. After they are done with them, Akela crouches down to the girl who is about to be stabbed, petting her on the head, noting that everyone is safe now. Reina walks through the corpses, not liking the smell of blood, and Kariel himself has a look of what seems to be either disgust or some kind of indignation. Reina notes that they should be getting to the carriage now and leave the smell behind. Kariel agrees. But what about the hero? He sees him bowing to the two villagers who were taken and letting them go free towards their village. Kariel wonders where the other one went. He is right in their carriage and apologizes for the late introduction. He is a hero called Ram. He holds the epithet of Shadow. By the way, Akela helped him greatly in becoming a hero. Kariel, Reina, and Kariel also introduced themselves, with Kariel thinking that Ram was already in the carriage but to meet two heroes already. How fascinating it is. Reina finds something strange though. Why are there multiple heroes? She whispers towards Kariel for an explanation, who guessed she might not have known if she wasn't that interested. The hero she is thinking of is one who fights the Demon King, right? The kind of hero who is chosen by the Holy Sword. On the other hand, regular heroes are superhuman beings who receive titles from the king, or think of themselves as national representatives. Ram confirms as such. At the same time, they receive epithets matching their abilities. The reason his epithet is Shadow is that he excels at assassinations and infiltration rather than combat. Reina wonders what epithet Akela has, and he explains that he has the epithet of the Pursuer. He excels in tracking and physical abilities. Kariel also explains that it's not just two heroes who have them. There are epithets like Berserker, and even Grudge. Reina's brain is a little wrecked. Suddenly, too much information comes into her head, and it hurts. So, to summarize, titled heroes carry out king's orders. Holy Sword heroes aim to kill the Demon King, but both types of heroes have honor and symbolism, and their essence is basically the same. And cases of misunderstanding like hers earlier happened because Holy Sword heroes are popular due to the heroic tales of the Demon King being slain, while the activities of the titled heroes can't be known well, unless one looks at them directly right. Akela notes that she hit it in the bull's eye. Kariel notes that he would like to see all the heroes at least once. Ram notes that he is lucky. Then, he might see them in the future because all heroes will be active in the upcoming Holy Sword recovery operation. Kariel is surprised to hear this, but a Holy Sword only appears when a Demon King is born, right? Reina wonders if a Demon King will appear soon. Ram knows he messed up because he let out too much information. Ram sheepishly tells them that it's a joke. He swears on his name as a hero, and begins laughing pretty shakily. Both of them wonder why he is so strange. Akela asks what he is doing right now. Anyway, he was going to speak slowly because he was worried they might have misunderstood, like just now. They don't need to worry about a Demon King appearing again. Kariel knows this too. The Demon King is already dead. Thinking too deeply about it will just cause a headache. They should just focus on what's ahead, right? They arrive at their designated spot, with Kariel asking what this case is about, and whether it is related to why they joined up with Ram. Akela confirms that the case they will face this time is a series of disappearances occurring inside the forest. This forest is shrouded in a deep darkness, day or night. For that reason, they joined up with Ram, who is accustomed to darkness, so they should go to the village that requested help first, and then move out. As they walk, Reina sees Kariel stopping, and asks why he's not moving. Kariel wonders about the disappearance case. The disappearances are probably the work of monsters, right? He didn't figure something out or anything, but the enemies they've met were first bandits, then sorcerers, and now robbers. They've been facing only people instead of monsters. Is it just a coincidence? Reina asks why it matters in the first place. Solving the case is what's most important. Why is he worried? Guides aren't particularly needed when dealing with people. They cornered sorcerers easily thanks to him. Kariel agrees, and begins following her, but wonders what he is worrying about since earlier. There's no way people would do such things in a dark forest like this. This is probably the work of monsters, probably? No, it definitely is. They make their way towards the village, which is pretty dilapidated looking and sad, considering the sun does not shine there much at all. Suddenly, the village residents appear with the elder shaking hands with Akela, thanking him for his hard work coming such a long way. They should rest for today as they've prepared rooms for them. Akela shakes his hand, and notes that they need to move as soon as possible, so they will just do a simple investigation for today. With that, he and Ram begin writing on parchment, with the first person being a woman. Ram tells her to give them a brief self-introduction, and she explains that she is Nora. She worked at a restaurant, and has a son, or had one. He went missing in the forest 2 days ago. Ram asks if she could explain the circumstances of the disappearance, and after standing still for a bit, she tells them that exactly 3 days ago, when they were passing through the forest, Knowing that this forest has had a series of disappearances over the past few months, she was holding her son's hand tightly as they passed through. However, even though she was holding his hand for sure, the child disappeared. Akela asks if he suddenly just vanished from her eyes, and Nora notes that, more precisely, she thinks she lost consciousness after hearing some sound. When she came to, the child was gone. It was a pretty weird song. It was like a monster song. On the other side, Raina and Kariel do some investigation too, interrogating one person. This village's name is Mark. What he would know about this situation would be when he entered the forest to look for a missing person. He wandered around the forest all day but did not get any results, but he did see at least part of the monster's face. Surprisingly though, he explains it had a snake's tail, and definitely the legs of a chicken. After getting information, Raina and Kariel know that after cross-referencing their findings, they roughly figured out what the monster is. The monster is definitely a basilisk, says Raina. A siren, says Kariel. Kariel tells her that she should listen to him since he's the guide, and Raina notes that she might not. He might not know, but magic school has monster classes in general education. Ram tells them not to fight over it, as it doesn't matter what kind of monster it is, right? They need to enter the forest tomorrow, so they should all go to their lodgings. The next day, Raina wonders if she has a cold as her nose is a bit stuffy. Kariel sees this and asks if she's sick, and she notes that he doesn't look great either. Is he nervous? It might not be a siren. Kariel says it's not that. He just couldn't sleep well. It's because of nothing, though. After thinking all night, this case involves behavior impossible for humans. He should be relieved, I guess. The heroes arrive at the spot too, and tell them not to forget their purpose is to find a child and an enemy little monster. With that, they will be going inside. After doing so, Akela explains that they will split into groups from here. He and Akela will be going right, while Raina and Kariel will be going left. While they continue walking, Kariel marks the places they've investigated, so they can tell where they've been. Akela tells Ram that there is a faint smell of blood in this forest, but the direction is pretty ambiguous. Ram notes that they should look for the lake first. Can he tell which direction it's in by the blood? By the smell? Akela does point him to it, and Ram jumps in, noting that he will check it first. Ram has the ability to interact with shadows. He can also travel by riding shadows, so this is pretty fast for him. He knows full well that for a siren to exist, there needs to be some kind of body of water, but it seems that this lake is almost completely dried up, with only a few drops of water left in it. After a bit more looking, Raina gets bored as they've been looking up and down, but nothing's come up. Kariel agrees. They've been looking for quite a bit, but there is one place they have not searched yet. That would be up there. The trees in this forest have such a huge circumference that even the branches are pretty enormous. Countless branches intertwine, and can even form a complete other layer. So, this is why the forest is dark, and there are claw marks on the bark of the trees too. This looks like the traces of a basilisk climbing up a tree. But who is going to climb up and investigate? He looks at Raina, who already knows what she needs to do, and goes on her broom. Kariel tells her that she can calm down if she is scared, but she says it's fine, even though it's scary. She sees a gap through the layer, and notes that she should investigate it. She grabs it and makes her way through it, but then sees something that looks very similar to a corpse head. She immediately pulls her head back out, thinking that perhaps it was just her imagination, and she gathers up her courage, noting that she will go on the count of 3. On 3, she immediately makes her way back and sees nothing this time, but it's a little different too, as she cannot see even a single thing. It's as if it's cut off from other places entirely. Because magic school strictly enforces curfew, model students like Raina were not accustomed to night at all, her eyes not being adjusted to it at all. Only the moonlit tree branches indicate the forest's boundaries. So, it's not complete darkness. She makes an orb of light, but keeps it dim so as not to attract too much attention. As she continues making her way through the upper layer, she gets increasingly more afraid, and wonders if she could always hear her heartbeat so clearly, and her footsteps are loud too. Though Raina was conscious of even small actions due to tension, she was missing one other important thing. She wasn't properly using her sense of smell at all. That's when, though, she discovered a smell. A disgusting smell that she shouldn't get used to, but somehow became familiar with. It's the smell of corpses. She immediately freezes upon sensing it, as this was definitely here from the beginning. So why didn't she notice it? Could it be because of her cold symptoms? The silence is getting to her, and she thinks she needs to get out and report back to Kariel, as he will know what to do. As she walks though, her foot snags on something, and she puts the light orb to it, but she can't really make out what it is. She powers up the light orb a bit more, and her heart stops as she sees that it's a head. Her heart continues hammering, and she tries to make a sound, but then immediately crouches down and puts her hands over her mouth. Raina's heart no longer made that quiet sound of beating. Instead, it pounded like a drum. That sound felt so loud that it might even leak out. So Raina stayed crouched in that spot for a very long time. After she calmed herself properly so that she could walk, she let out a sigh of relief and stilled herself. They should get out of here right away. But even though she calmed down, this thumping sound of her heart has not stopped yet. As she looks forward though, she sees that, unfortunately, she was never truly alone in this place. Reina's breath catches as she knows she made eye contact with something, but she doesn't know what kind of monster it is. Her body does not respond to her anymore. Is it the physical reaction, or the monster's ability? She thinks of using defensive magic first, and she will run away. But when should she run away? Right now? She decides the moment a bead of sweat drops down her face. She turns around, aiming to run away, but it's already too late, as the monster snags her. Down below, Cariel paces, as it's been about 10 minutes since Reina went up there. Wasn't she supposed to be just investigating? Why isn't she coming down? This won't work either. He needs to join up with the heroes and go up together. Suddenly, though, he hears a sudden explosion sound above, and the heroes hear it too. From above, Reina seems to be falling down, and he wonders why she is here, and more importantly, he cannot lose her. He immediately rushes in and catches her, asking if she's okay, but it's pretty damn clear that she's not, as she is bleeding lightly from her head, and her expression is that of horror mixed with exhaustion. Cariel's eyes widen as he wonders just what the hell happened, but it doesn't matter now. First, he needs to get her treated. As they walk, Reina explains that the monster got her, and Cariel tells her not to waste her breath. She can speak slowly. After getting her back to the village and patched up, she explains that while she was investigating the upper part of the forest, she got hurt. Ram asks if she had an encounter with the monster, and she thinks so. The moment she got caught by the monster, she used defensive magic and passed out. The monster was carrying her in its mouth somewhere. She waited for a chance, and broke through the forest with magic and escaped. Akela apologizes if this question seems rude, but he asks Cariel why the monster didn't just eat her. He guesses that it's likely it was storing her in its territory while keeping her under an illusion. That's how a basilisk stores its prey. Akela thinks that they need to quickly find the missing child. They're going right up to the forest canopy. Will he come too? Cariel agrees, noting that he might be of some use. But as they leave, Reina looks at him, noting that he has to come back alive, and he nods, telling her not to worry. A guide's reason for existing is probably preventing variables beforehand, after all. He crouches down with the heroes, and explains that before they go in, they should allow him to explain about the basilisks. Ram notes that basilisks have the evil eye of petrification, right? Cariel confirms as such, but abilities and countermeasures are all different depending on the legend and environment. The basilisks here use illusion, not petrification. They just need to be careful of their gaze. Also, depending on whether it simply has a snake's tail, or if a snake is attached, it's sometimes classified as a cockatrice. Looking at monsters from a different perspective than ordinary adventurers, reassembling them after breaking them down to reduce variables is the guide's role. Besides this, they also have knowledge of hunting, monsters, and dungeon ecosystems, so guides tend to work well with mages. He said he thinks so grandly, but it's true that the guides are just weak and are compensating. They climb up to the place where Reina was with Akela, never expecting a place to be so big up in the trees. But the monster smell is definitely thicker here, the smell of chicken and snake. Ram continues. It doesn't seem to be just one or two. Just as there are grades for adventurers, the same goes for beasts and monsters. Basically, they are divided into lower, middle, and upper monsters, which beginner, intermediate, and advanced adventurer parties can handle respectively. In the case of Basilisk, their fusion of snake and chicken. Thanks to the illusion through gaze, Chimera's characteristics are regular movement, and a body with no real weak points. It is undoubtedly classified as an upper-class monster. One descends on Cariel, aiming to take off his head. He tries to move his body, but he can't, just like when he was a child. Before the basilisk can snap his head though, Akela pushes him away and puts his blade through the basilisk's mouth before cutting it perfectly in half, his blade easily ripping through its flesh. He asks Cariel if he's alright, and to please leave the fight to them. Ram also notes that there are several more coming their way, so Cariel should go and find the child. He agrees and crouches down behind one of the trees, thinking that he cannot be the deadweight following along who is not helpful at all. He wants to watch the situation a bit more first, then go look for the missing boy. One of the basilisks charges through at Ram, pinning him, but he is fine. He does not make eye contact, just as Cariel said, and smashes his knife into the basilisk's eye, going further to go to its brain and killing it. He sees something surprising, as this basilisk does not seem to have a tail at all. Before he can think about it more, another appears from behind, and screeches at him as it charges. Ram immediately smashes his fist into it a bunch of times, but for some reason, it begins regenerating. Cariel himself is shocked as well. Basilisks definitely do not have any regeneration abilities. Is it an illusion? But he can see it from far away as well. He does not know the cause, but for regenerating monsters, the weak point is the heart. He screams at Ram to run, telling him to aim for the heart immediately. He pins the basilisk's wings and pulls it down, allowing Akela to rush in and smash his blade right into the basilisk's heart, killing it instantly. Suddenly though, before they can do anything more, that same haunting song begins to play out. the one described by Nora, and Cariel seems to know what it is, but it's something that shouldn't be here at all. This is a siren. Akela can still feel that he can move his body, and he needs to get out of here quickly, but that's when he is met with the eyes of a basilisk, and he cannot move anymore. Cariel thinks that this is crazy. How can something like that exist here? How is that even possible? Just how? How can a siren be up above and nowhere near water? The song she is playing now is putting him more and more under its spell. He needs to stay focused as his vision is getting fuzzy. Before he can fall asleep, he smacks his own ears roughly as he needs to get it together. He cannot stop here. Not yet. It seems that his eardrums have burst from his attacks, but it doesn't matter, as he can definitely get it fixed later. This would be something that would make someone wince in pain, but Cariel's face is resolute. Akela can't move at all, and remains in place as the basilisk slowly opens its demonic mouth and lunges toward the helmet. Just before it snaps its beak, though, Cariel jumps in and saves him, asking if he's okay. Akela gets the spell removed from him and says that it's fine. First, they will need to get out of here. Cariel wonders where Ram is, and Akela notes that he was right next to him. It seems he was put under the song's spell as well. Akela grabs him, and they go hide for a bit. Ram thanks both of them, as he is alive thanks to them, but wonders if Cariel's ears are okay. Cariel confirms as such. Akela has healed him with divine power anyway. They need to figure out what that strange chimera is. Ram agrees. Also, that chimera might be able to regenerate as well. It's just like that basilisk from earlier. Above all, there is the siren song and the basilisk vision too. He cannot deal with those two attacks at the same time. Akela asks if it can regenerate. They need to aim for its heart, but where is the monster's heart? Or does it have two? Cariel thinks about it. The heart should be somewhere in the middle. Basilisks are a mix between a snake and a chicken, but the main body is definitely a chicken. There is no way there is a heart in the snake part. But if it's a siren-basilisk fusion, which one is the main body? But is that even possible to begin with? Even earlier, weird stuff happened with the golems as well, right? So there might be a way to solve this just like before. If he thinks about it a little more, just a little more, he is definitely missing something here. It's something extremely basic. Akela notes that they should leave the thinking to the guide and come up with a plan. Ram points at the map because, looking at it, to reach the siren, they have to pass tons of basilisks, so they probably can't withstand all those mental attacks at once. One person should be bait to buy time, and the other should target the siren. Ram asks Akela how his sword works, and he explains that he charges his sword with divine power, and then releases all the sword power at once. There is still some divine power left in the sword. Ram notes that he will take the bait roll then, and Akela guesses he will only get one chance too, but alright, he will go for the siren from behind. They both look at Cariel and wonder if he figured out which part is the main body. Cariel nods. There is no time, so he will tell them right away. With this plan in mind, Ram steps out, noting that it's pretty late at night. It's the perfect stage for beasts like them. Well, he guesses it's not really fitting for heroes. The basilisks charge at him, and he unleashes a bunch of strikes with his cloak at one, before another jumps in and tries to eat him, but he immediately redirects his cloak and cuts the basilisk in two. He looks the siren dead in the eye, and something changes as he faintly hears her song. He rushes in, taking out 3 basilisks. Ram aims directly for the siren, using his cloak to stab it through the chest. He thinks he stabbed it. However, the pressure on his body snapped him out of his dream, as he was below 2 basilisks. He wonders when he got here, and Akela, using this opportunity, charges from the side. Completely ignoring the basilisks and looking to strike the siren directly, Cariel told him previously that the part he should go for is the basilisk's side, and he does so, shattering it utterly with his divine sword. This seems to have done the trick, as the spell on Ram is broken, and he is able to eradicate the basilisk that is charging towards him. Cariel moves around, thinking that the missing child should be in the first place where they store food. The smell is strong from this direction, and he eventually finds it. He sees that it's mostly just corpses. However, there is a small boy right there. He moves in to save him quickly, but that's when he is met with another basilisk who seems to have been guarding their food storage. He looks at the basilisk and then at the boy. The child is about 10 steps ahead, so he can definitely make it. Suddenly, when the snake tail charges in, he ducks under it and grabs the child before running away frantically. He knows he cannot outrun a basilisk, so there definitely must be another way. He sees a basilisk corpse in front, the one that Akela pierced with his sword through the heart, and vaults over it before standing right behind it. The other basilisk charges in, heavily stepping on his fallen comrade, and this causes both of them to fall down, due to their sheer weight. However, Cariel had not calculated that the wood below him would also shatter, and he is in danger of falling down as well. Just before the basilisk crashed down, he grabbed onto a branch, holding himself and the boy up. He knows that the boy takes priority, and tries to pull him up further and further. However, the branch snaps right as he grips it tighter. He resigns to his fate, closing his eyes. However, that's when he is grabbed by an armored hand. It's Ram who asks if he's all right, and who looks a little worse for wear than before. Clearly, this battle has taken a lot out of all of them, except their lives. Fortunately, they rescued the missing child without any other casualties, and the disappearance case in the forest was thus resolved. Cariel, after this, is sleeping pretty soundly, with Reina noting that she cast a spell before leaving, poking at his cheek, thinking that he should be awake by now. Nora approaches Ram, who is close by, and notes that their village prepared food and gifts as a token of their gratitude, so they wanted to ask if he would please attend. She also wonders why it's getting darker and darker. Ram tells her not to worry too much about it. It's like a chronic condition of his. Nora understands, and she will assume that he is attending then, and he must also bring his guide friend. Ram confirms he will pass it along and breathes a sigh of relief. That's when Akela approaches and asks if he's listening. Ram apologizes, as he was lost in thought for a moment, and asks if the results from examining the monster's corpse came in. Akela says that they did, but he is not here for that. Could they talk a moment? They go into an alleyway, and Akela begins talking about this case, and, more specifically, about the future. Before coming here, he handled a case where a golem attacked people. The truth was that their cores were corrupted to make them act as monsters, and this time, they have a bizarre case of monsters fusing. From the investigation, the connection point between the siren and the basilisks was similar to the object that corrupted the golems around. Both cases were done by the same organization, and the probability of that has become quite high. What he wants to talk about now is the main point, the relationship between the Demon King and the Holy Sword. True prophecy or phenomena, like black clouds covering the sky, they can tell that the Demon King will soon appear. At the same time, the Holy Sword also reveals its location and position through prophecy. Like this, the two have an inseparable relationship. This is not exactly precise, but a Demon King and the Holy Sword appear roughly every 100 years. It's been like a law and promise that has continued to be fulfilled, except once before. Hero Perchun killed 2 Demon Kings. Perchun first defeated a Demon King 30 years ago, and the second was defeated 10 years ago. Something must have happened in between then. He wasn't a hero then, so he doesn't know exactly. Ram wonders if he is saying the law was broken because of Perchun, but Akela says that was just the Demon King appearing unexpectedly one more time. Akela explains that he is not blaming Perchun specifically. It's just that, after 2 Demon King defeats, what they thought was a law became meaningless, meaning that it wouldn't be strange if a Demon King or a Holy Sword appeared again tomorrow, or earlier basically. Ram guesses that everything he is saying is speculation, and Akela confirms as such. He has no proof. He doesn't really know what's happening or how either, but there is one thing he can say for certain. This Holy Sword recovery operation will be different from the operations they have known of. At the Royal Palace Vinat, someone tells Perchun that everything is ready, as they will depart soon. This is Perchun, the hero of the previous era, but he no longer looks the part. He stands there like a hollowed-out shell, less a legendary hero, and more a lingering shadow of a man. Thank you for watching. See you next time.